A brand new Predator movie just dropped a huge reveal about what happened to Naru, and because of that, any version of Prey 2 now looks completely different from what most of us originally imagined. When Prey came out, it basically launched a modern golden age for the franchise. That movie rebuilt goodwill after the backlash to The Predator, which had left a lot of fans frustrated. Prey felt focused, stripped down, and culturally grounded, so it changed the conversation around Predator almost overnight. Now, 2025 is delivering two new Predator projects, starting with Predator: Killer of Killers, but a straightforward Prey sequel still hasn't materialized. Even though fans have been waiting for Prey 2, the new film makes it clear that if it happens, it won't resemble the grounded survival story we saw before. Killer of Killers works as an anthology. It follows 3 separate Predator hunts in 3 different time periods, so you get Vikings in one segment, ninjas in another, and World War II pilots in the third. At first, these stories feel disconnected because each one focuses on a different warrior facing a Yautja hunter, but the final chapter ties everything together in a way that reframes the entire movie. The surviving human characters from those earlier segments end up on the Yautja homeworld, trying to escape together. That twist is exciting on its own, but the real shock comes with what happens next. One of the characters, the Viking Ursa, is captured instead of escaping. She's placed into suspended animation and stored inside a massive facility filled with similar pods. Each chamber holds a warrior from another era, and the implication is clear. These are humans who defeated predators in the past. They were taken as trophies or experiments instead of being left alone. Then comes the reveal that changes everything. One of those chambers contains Naru. So now we know that after the events of Prey, Naru didn't simply continue living as a hero among her Comanche tribe. Instead, she was taken by the Yautja and transported off Earth. The credits of Prey had hinted that more Predator ships arrived after her victory in 1719, and many assumed that meant a sequel where her tribe would face multiple hunters at once. But Killer of Killers shows that the ships weren't just scouting, they were collecting. Because Ursa's segment confirms the presence of a World War II pilot named John Torres, we know that the facility includes captives from at least the 1940s. It's unclear how long Torres has been frozen, and it's possible some warriors have been held for centuries. That means Naru has been in suspended animation for at least 200 years, and maybe far longer depending on when the Yautja decided to wake or move their prisoners. This completely reshapes what Prey 2 has to be about. Even though the sequel hasn't been officially confirmed, it's hard to ignore this setup. If Naru is trapped on a Yautja planet, then the logical next chapter follows her escape. Instead of returning to the Great Plains and her tribe, she would be navigating an alien world filled with captured warriors from different eras. That direction makes Prey 2 feel less like a direct continuation and more like a spiritual cousin to Predators, which also placed humans on an alien hunting planet. The difference is that this time, the story would center on a character we already know deeply. Naru wouldn't just be another skilled fighter dropped into chaos. She would be someone ripped out of her culture and forced into a future she doesn't understand. Although that concept has potential, it's definitely not what many expected. One of the strongest elements of Prey was its setting. The Great Plains backdrop wasn't just aesthetic. The portrayal of Comanche life shaped the story's emotional core. Naru's struggle to prove herself within her tribe gave the film personal stakes. Her journey wasn't just about defeating a predator, it was about earning recognition and redefining her role in her community. By the end of Prey, she had achieved that recognition, so pulling her away from her tribe feels abrupt. The earlier credit tease made it seem like the sequel would escalate the threat on Earth, maybe showing multiple Yautja hunters challenging the Comanche at once. That would have preserved the cultural grounding while raising the stakes. Instead, the new direction shifts everything into cosmic territory. It's unclear whether the plan was always to abduct Naru or whether that idea developed during production of Killer of Killers, but either way, it changes expectations dramatically. A sequel on Yautja Prime would explore different themes. Instead of belonging and identity within her tribe, the story would focus on survival in isolation and adapting to a completely foreign environment. Even though this isn't the version some people wanted, it's still intriguing. Watching Naru interact with warriors from different centuries could create dynamic character moments. Imagine her forming alliances with a Viking, a ninja, or a World War II pilot. That kind of cross-era team-up is ambitious, and because the anthology film already showed humans working together to escape, there's a clear blueprint for how it might play out. Director Dan Trachtenberg has made it clear that he's still deeply invested in the franchise. After signing a major deal with Paramount Pictures, he confirmed that developing more Predator stories will happen alongside his new original projects. He described the process as simultaneous, meaning he's juggling ideas rather than walking away. When asked specifically about the future, including Prey 2, Trachtenberg explained that he's thinking about what would make the next chapter special. He compared this to how he approached both Killer of Killers and Predator Badlands, noting that those projects emerged from exploring new entry points into the franchise. He's not just looking to repeat what worked before, he's asking what hasn't been done yet. That mindset explains the bold direction with Naru. Instead of repeating the Great Plains survival formula, the story could expand the universe. Trachtenberg has also teased exploring the Badlands cliffhanger involving Deck and his mother, as well as the cryogenic prison reveal from Killer of Killers. So there are multiple narrative threads to follow. There's even the possibility of larger crossovers. Badlands hinted at future Alien vs. Predator potential, and conversations with Arnold Schwarzenegger about Dutch returning suggest that legacy characters could intersect with newer ones. Because of that, Prey 2 doesn't exist in isolation. It could be part of a bigger tapestry. Despite branching out creatively, Trachtenberg has emphasized that he has no intention of abandoning Predator. Fans who loved Prey, Killer of Killers, and Badlands can feel confident that the franchise's current momentum won't stall. Even though he now has opportunities at Paramount, Predator remains a priority. Interestingly, Trachtenberg also reflected on moments he feared would be cut from Badlands but ended up resonating with audiences. He mentioned a campfire scene inspired by Jaws, where a character named Bud mimics Deck. It wasn't essential to the plot, and it was expensive due to visual effects, so he assumed it would be removed. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.